Hello first grade. So today we are going to start this Andy Warhol inspired history documentation. So our learning objective is to understand that people from different places and times have made art for a variety of reasons. We will understand the purpose of some everyday objects is to record personal history. We will be able to create art for the purpose of recording personal history. And we'll be able to use tools and materials safely and properly. So we're going to record our personal history by doing our handprints. So that's our hand changes as we age, and it starts off small and gets bigger as we grow, obviously. And so since you're in the first grade, your hand's going to be smaller than it is as an adult. So we're going to record your personal history by stamping your hand as it is right now. And then years from now, when you look back at the picture, you'll be able to say, oh, I can't believe my hand was that small. So we're going to record our personal history inspired by Andy Warhol's paintings of the flowers. You're going to start with a large black piece of paper, and you need to write your name and the day you have art. Day A, day B, day C. You're going to flip it over, and you're going to paint the whole paper green. We're doing the background first. So that's why we have the blue placemat underneath our work, so we can paint the whole paper, including the edges, and we won't get paint on the table, we'll just get it on our placemat. And I try to make my brush strokes, you can see them, going in the same direction. I don't go zigzag and curly and all that. Now you want a fairly thick amount of paint on here. You don't want to paint it on too thin. You want to get a good amount of green. And then you're going to use a scraping plate, which looks like this. It has a handle and it has some sort of teeth on one side. The teeth might be close together or they might be far apart, and you're going to scrape some patterns into the green paint. So you press down and pull across your paper so that it kind of looks like grass. Okay? And then you're finished with this step. So you're going to put this on the drying rack, and then you're going to need to take some paper towels, some dry paper towels, and you're going to need to clean off your placemat. So you're going to get all that green paint off there, so you can't just swipe it across there once, and you don't want to go back and forth with the same dirty part of your paper towel. You want to move your paper towel around and find some clean spots on there to get that green off your placemat. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be stamping 4 papers using bubble wrap. So 4 different colors. 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to write your name on all these papers, so you have to write your name 4 times. Flip them over, and you're going to get some bubble wrap. And I have 2 kinds of bubble wrap. I have one with small little circles and one with big circles. And you're going to use white paint to paint over the top of the bubble wrap. And you don't need a lot of it because the bubble wrap's plastic, so the paint doesn't dry and it moves. You can kind of spread that around on your bubble wrap pretty quickly. And you don't need a nice thick amount of paint, just a small amount of paint over the top. And then you're going to take your papers and you're going to press them down with your name side up. You're not going to put your name side in the paint. You're going to put the blank side down on the paint, and you're going to press with your hand, and then you're going to pull up, and it makes circle prints on your paper. So you're going to do 2 in the big circles. You see, I only painted once, and you're going to do 2 on the small. One swipe of paint for 2 papers is plenty. And you can see it's not perfect. It's darker in other spaces, and other spaces you don't get any circles. And that's okay. That just creates more of an interest to look at. And these will go, get yourself a manila paper for these, and you're going to set them on a manila paper, all 4 of your pieces, and you're going to put these on the drying rack, just like this on the manila paper. Now if you got any paint on your placemat, you're going to need to wipe that down with a dry paper towel. Alright, so then on your next day when the papers are dry, I'm going to try and flatten these out for you before you get them back, but with all that wet paint on there, they kind of curl up on you. So there's my background. And here are my 4 stamped papers. What I want you to do is flip them over and put your hand on them. Fit your hand on the square. If the bottom of your hand runs off, that's okay. And I want you to trace around your hand very carefully on each of your papers, the back of your paper, not on the painted side. And since I'm right-handed, every single one of these will be my left hand. If you're left-handed, then all of these will be your right hand, and that's okay. I spread my fingers apart so I can get between them with my pencil. And then you're going to cut each one of these out very carefully. None of us have pointy fingers. None of us have the big chunks at the ends of our fingers, so you need to stay right on the pencil lines, maybe cut right inside the pencil lines if you want to cut the pencil lines off. But you're going to stay right with the pencil lines, and you're going to follow the curvy, wonky edges of your fingers, so that when you finish cutting out these 4 hands, they look like hands and they don't look like blobs. And hands are not easy to cut out, so notice how I'm turning my paper when I get to a curve. I'm not turning my scissors. My scissors are staying in the same direction, and I'm just turning my paper. You can also recycle your scraps when you're finished cutting these out. Okay, so now you're going to glue these hands onto your green background paper. And I want you to do a frame of glue. So you're going to follow along the edge of your hand and come up and put glue on each finger. And you're going to glue each one of these, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. Okay, now these are going to want to curl up on you, so you got to kind of hold them down and give the glue a chance to kind of stick and hold those hands down. And then the final step is to paint your hand. So these are all my right hand, even though I traced my left hand, right guys? I traced my left hand, but I traced it on the back of the paper, so when I flip it over, it's my right hand. So match up your thumbs, and that's the hand you're going to paint. You're going to paint it black. And this is the messy part. So you're going to, since I'm right-handed, I have to use my left hand to get paint on my paintbrush, and I'm going to paint my fingers in the palm of my hand and my thumb. So sometimes it's better to keep your fingers closed. Oops, I dripped black on my paper. So you definitely don't want to do that over your paper. So you're going to paint, keep your fingers closed and paint the palm of your hand and the tips of your fingers. You don't need to put a lot of paint on there, just enough that it looks black. And then you're going to spread your fingers apart, kind of match up with your cut hand, and press down and pull up for your stamped hand. Then you're going to put your fingers back together, do another coat of black real quick. You've already got plenty of black paint on there, but some of it's been stamped onto the paper, so you just need to cover it again. Spread your fingers apart, press down, pull up, put your fingers back together, a quick coat of black paint, press down and pull up. And for your 4th and final, another coat of black paint. Don't forget your thumb. Spread your fingers apart, press down and pull up. And there you have your finished artwork inspired by Andy Warhol's flowers to create art for the purpose of recording personal history. And this is our personal history because this is what our hand looks like now in the 1st grade. Good job.